Hi, and welcome to another episode of Hot Takes with me, the Silver Fox. In this video, I'd like to talk about the return to our screens of a show which I absolutely loved. I thought it was a great show. You've seen from the titles, it's Quantum Leap. It ran for about 5 seasons, 89 to 94. And it was just one of those shows that every week was different. It was in a different time frame, different events were happening. They had excellent guest stars. The stories were well written, some stronger than others. There were a few weak ones, of course, but there were some exceptional ones. Sometimes there were twists. Sometimes he would have to go in and fix something. And they thought it was something major, and they fixed this and they fixed this, and it still wasn't going. It turned out it was something quite small. So it was a wonderful series, and it was made with deep love, I think, by the people who made it, and certainly the two leads. The chemistry between them was excellent. You had Scott Bakula, who, of course, has gone on to find fame in other ventures, Star Trek and NCIS, and Dean Stockwell, who, of course, who himself was an old hand. He was coming into this as a well-liked, well-respected figure in the industry, and he played an absolutely superb role as the Admiral Calvecchia. And it sadly passed last year, November last year. So with this reboot, well, it's not actually going to be a reboot, but with this return of Quantum Leap, it's quite possible you get Scott Bakula back in to do a cameo or two. But very sadly, of course, we won't be getting Al coming back. But it's it's in production, well, pre-production now, and they have got their new Sam in the name of a Chinese American actor called Raymond Lee. And what I'll do is I will zip down into my corner and we'll have a look at this thing from Bleeding Cool, and we'll discuss it. Yep, so here we are. This is Bleeding Cool, and this was posted a couple of days ago. Quantum Leap, Raymond Lee tapped to lead pilot, plot twist revealed. A little less than a month after we learned that Helen Shaver had been tapped to executive produce and direct the pilot, NBC has found its lead for its hour-long Quantum Leap pilot in Raymond Lee, coming from Kevin Can F himself. Set in the present time, some 30 years after the original series with Scott Bakula's Dr. Sam Beckett, a new team has been assembled to restart the project in the hopes of understanding the mysteries behind the machine and the man who created it. Lee's Dr. Ben Song is both a scientist and a man of faith. He's a world-renowned physicist working on a time travel project known as Quantum Leap. And using the Quantum Leap technology on himself, Ben Song gets stuck in the late 1980s. But there's a twist. He's also suffering from amnesia. Now I'm just going to break there. In the original series, Sam, he was testing the machine out himself, and he got thrown back in time to the late 50s, and he suffered from amnesia, and it was an ongoing thing over the sort of the course of the series, that he had this what he calls Swiss cheese memory, and then sometimes every now and again something would come back and his memory would come back and his memory would come back. One of the other things that was set up in the original series is that you could only time travel within your own life. It was to do with the quantum strings of your existence. So he couldn't go back to before he didn't exist. Now, they got around this quite cleverly in one episode because it was set before he was born. But it turned out it was 8 months before he was born. And so therefore he was an embryo inside his mother, and therefore counted. They then also broke that canon later and went back to an even earlier time. But it turned out that he was in a time where he had very similar DNA to his great-grandfather, or insert scientific mumbo-jumbo to get past the storyline for the purposes of narration. But that was the basic principle of it. And now, if that holds here. And then we have this guy, Ben Song, being able to travel back through his life. Now it's 2022 now, and I don't know how. Oh, I'm just going to find this out. Bear with me 1 second while I find out when Raymond Lee was born. Raymond Lee was born in 1987. Okay, so according to this, where he finds himself stuck in the late 1980s, so presumably this would be at the beginning of his life. So that would be as far back as he could go, would be 1987. So that means they don't have like a particularly long stretch of history. That said, if you think about the events that they could then cover within Quantum Leap, if they stick to the same rules about traveling in your lifetime, you're going to have the fall of the Berlin Wall, Russia breaking, the Soviet Union breaking up. You're going to have the millennium. You're going to have 2000. Oh, you guarantee one story at least will be about 9/11. They'll probably do a story about Trump. There's going to be. There's been a lot of things happening in 30 odd years, so it's quite a big field. So they do have that range of stories. And I think if it's going to be anything like the original Quantum Leap, it's going to be pretty good. But of course, what you're going to have is the issue of him being able to meet Sam. Now, Sam could still be jumping, and this is the point. It's not a reboot, it's a continuation. So technically, Sam is still out there jumping from time frame to time frame between the early 50s and, well, present day. And we know that there are others that leap. There are other leapers. This has happened within the canon of the show from the original series. So it's entirely possible that they could get up and have a story, get Sam back, go on a joint mission or something. Or one of the missions might be, Song's mission might be to get Sam back by doing a particular thing. Who knows? But it's there. It's exciting. I'm really looking forward to it. Please be good. Please be good. Please be good. I'm sure it is. I'm sure it is. The world it's coming from is well laid down. There's a lot of lore in it. If they stick to that, they've got the basis of a great program. And we know that Raymond Lee can act. You've seen him in many things. So I think he's capable of carrying the show. The only thing that they got to find now is a new Al. Now, obviously, it can't be Al because Al belongs to Sam, but his cohort, his sounding board, because obviously Al's job is not to sit and listen to Sam. Al's job is to allow the audience to know what's going on. So they have to have that discussion so that us, through the fourth wall, it's a plot device, obviously, but us through the fourth wall can be explained to various things. And I get that, and that's fine. You need someone to talk to. So you need someone with the acting chops to be able to handle something like that. And I think there's many out there that could, but who knows? But that's the thing now. If you've got him, and I think if you get a good Al, we could be there. But anyway, we'll continue with this story. Right, so La Brea showrunners Stephen Lillian and Brian Winbrandt are writing and executive producing the pilot, with Blind Spot creator Martin Gero, original series editor, Don Belisario, and Deborah Pratt. Now, if you're getting Martin Gero, who did Blind Spot, and Blind Spot was a brilliant premise and had some great storylines, got a bit weaker and a bit silly towards the end, but first couple of series, most excellent. So you've got that kind of comeback, to kick this in. You've got Belisario himself, who will take great pride in his product. He cared deeply about the original one. So if he's coming back on board for this, it's going to be right. I don't think it's going to be woke. I don't think they're going to step this line. I think we're finally coming to the end of identity politics and wokeness and etc. etc. And you think the original Sam He was jumping. He's a oh look, he's an intelligent, privileged white male, but he was jumping in 1989. He was jumping into the body of an old black man. He was jumping into the body of a working class woman. Who was getting sexually not abused, but touched up, smacked on the arse, things like that. And that was an excellent episode, especially the ending. He jumped into the body of somebody with Down syndrome, and he's jumped into the body of a blind person. So he's done different ethnicities, sexualities, abilities, disabilities, and that gives him that viewpoint to see others as they see themselves. And you would never get away with that today under Hollywood woke rules. Oh, if he's playing a black man, he must be a black man. Here, you actually got a white man playing a black man. Well, now, if this comes forward, you're going to have an Asian American man playing a white man, an Asian American man playing a black woman, and so on. So it cannot, by any definition, be woke. And I think it's going to be good. I think we're going to cast off that toxic cancer of identity politics that's been rife for 4 or 5 years now, and get back to proper storytelling, because that's the one thing Quantum Leap did, is it told damn good stories. Anyway, going on. While I do get off on tangents, don't I? Anyway, while not currently attached to either reprise his role or produce in some way, Bakula has apparently had conversations about returning. Stockwell passed away in November last year at the age of 85. Universal Television will produce the pilot alongside Lillian and Winbrandt's I Have an Idea Entertainment, Bellisario's Bellisario Productions, and Jero's Quinn House Productions. I'm wondering if that's Quinn from Quinn Martin. And anyone of a certain age will have known of Quinn Martin. It was a Quinn Martin production. Anyway, speaking with the late Bob Saget as a guest on... Oh, yes, of course, and he died recently, didn't he? Speaking with the late Bob Saget as a guest on the actor and comedian's Bob Saget's Here For You podcast last September, Bakula wanted fans to know that while they shouldn't look for a teaser anytime soon, there had been very significant conversations going on about bringing the series back. There are very significant conversations about it right now going on. I don't know what it would be. I don't know who it would have. The rights were a mess for years. I don't know if they're even sorted out now. Well, I think they must have been. If they're getting to the point where they're doing pre-production and casting, it must be sorted out. Bakula has brought up the idea of bringing the series back with Bellisario over the years, and he would always say, I can't write it without thinking of you and Dean Stockwell. But Bakula saw that as even more reason for Bellisario to get his new vision out there, telling him, just think about me and Dean and write your damn show. Get it out there. If you have an idea, just write it. I'm sure it will be great. I don't know what the idea would be if we did. And I think this is right. I mean, God, you don't know what? I'm thinking about this. He must be in his 70s now, Scott Bakula. Kind of looking a bit like an aging Henry Winkler there, but yeah. I think it would be great. I think this is going to be a fantastic series. I cannot wait. Anyway, we'll come back up and I'll round off this video. So there you have it. Yep, a whole new show, the continuing tales of Quantum Leap. I think they have the foundations there to build a massive hit on their hands. If they get it right, it's going to be as big as the original, possibly bigger. Bigger audiences now. They must respect what's gone before, and if they do, and I think with Donald Bellisario in charge, I think they will. He won't allow them to, kick the corpse, if you like, of the previous version. It would be nice to get Scott Bakula back to have a little cameo or two. I think that would allow it to flow between the two series. And I think if it's handled carefully, they will have a whole series of excellently well-written episodes with great characters played by great actors, and they're going to have an audience that will be enthralled. There'll be the younger ones who have never heard of Quantum Leap. Sort of anyone under 30 really will never have heard of Quantum Leap. And all us old farts will be back on it, and it'll be like welcoming home an old friend. And so yes, best of luck to all concerned. Please make it good. Please make it the best show it could possibly be. Counting on you guys. Anyway, thank you for watching. If you like what you see and hear on this channel, please hit the subscribe button below, ring the bell for notifications on new content, leave a like, leave a comment. We like the comments, we respond to every comment. And until next time, keep safe, keep well, and goodbye.